morning, students. Welcome to your science online class. Hope you are all okay in this video. So we have completed our 5th chapter of the unit 2. So today we will start with our 6th chapter, that is the food quality and food safety. This is the last chapter of this unit. Okay. So what do we understand by food? Food is a major determinant of health, nutritional status and productivity of the population. So food, we all know that without food we can't live. Without food, growth and development will be static. There will be no growth and development. So food is a basic need of our life. It is essential that the food we consume is wholesome and safe. So as we are consuming the food, we need to ensure that the food that we are having is wholesome and safe. So the basic term that we are going to learn in this chapter is food safety and food quality. So what is the significance of this food safety and food quality? Food safety and quality are important at the home level, but are critical in the large scale for production and processing, and also where food is freshly prepared and served. So as we know that previously the food used to be prepared or it would have been processed in home only, but now there are lots of factories or different processing centers where the food is being prepared, processed, and the quality is being judged, and then the food is being sold in the market. So we are not ensured that whether the food which is processed is okay or not. Okay, so the quality of the food stuff, whether it's raw as well as the processed, is of public health concern and must be addressed. So the food quality and food safety, these are need to be assured before we consume that. There are many processed and packaged foods. Safety of these foods is important. Spices and condiments, oil seeds were processed at home in former times, and purity of these were not in concern. So as I told you that these spices, condiments, we used to process it previously in our home only, but now it has been processed in different factories or industry, then it has been sold into the market, and we can get this from the market. Okay. So the microbial adaptations, antibiotic resistance, altered human susceptibility, and international traveling have all contributed to increased incidence of foodborne microbial diseases. So as we are traveling, as the new disease and different kinds of antibiotics regarding the disease is being coming, new researches are going on, so it's we are more susceptibility in this microbial, we have a chance in this microbial disease, having this microbial diseases. Okay, so nearly half of all known foodborne pathogens has been discovered during the past 25 to 30 years. There are still many foodborne illnesses of unknown etiology. So we have come to know about lots of these foodborne pathogens, okay, like Clostridium, what else? Staphylococcus, Salmonella. We know these usual pathogens, but also there are new pathogens which are coming as the days are going. Okay. So population in atmosphere, soil and water, including use of pesticides in agriculture. Okay, these bring their share of contaminants. So as the food is being included in this whole thing, so it has got a high chance of being contaminated. Also use of additives such as preservatives, colorants, flavoring agents and other substances like stabilizers makes the analysis of food for various components, both nutrients and contaminants. Okay. So the basic concepts we are going to know is the terms that I am telling you. Food safety. So what do you mean by food safety? So food safety means assurance that food will not cause any harm to the consumers. So if I tell that the food is safe, that means the food is consumable. It hasn't got any side effects or eating that will not create any complexity. Okay. So basically it will not cause any harm to the consumers who are having that food. So this is what we call food safety. And what do you mean by toxicity? Toxicity is the capacity of a substance to produce harm or injury of any kind under any condition. So toxicity means suppose a food ingredients which have got that ability to harm anyone. Okay, so suppose a bread which has been kept in the open air for several times. So spores or the microbes will be there in that bread. So after some time, if you eat that bread, complexity or it will lead to the toxicity. So this is what we call toxicity. Toxicity is the capacity of substance to produce harm or injury of any kind under any conditions. Hazard is the relative probability that the harm or injury will result when substance is not used in a prescribed manner and quantity. Okay. Hazard is the relative probability that harm or injury will result when substance is not used in a prescribed manner and quantity. So hazard is the chance of the food being contaminated when the food is not been kept in proper conditions or it has not been prescribed in the manner of in the base of quantity. Okay, so this hazard can be physical, chemical, biological, causing harmful adverse effects on the health of consumers. So the hazard, it has got several aspects. That what kind of hazard is it going to be? So hazard we can divide it into physical, chemical and the biological cause. So what is the physical hazard? Physical hazard is any physical material not normally found in food which causes illness or injury and includes wood, stones, parts of pastes, hair, etc. Suppose we are having any kind of food. We are having any kind of dishes. So in that particular dish, suppose you saw that there is a part of hair. There is a hair fallen in that food. So what is it? It is a physical material which you found in that. So it can there may be any kind of bacteria attached with the hair. So it will directly get to the food and can contaminate the food. Okay. Suppose buttons can fall in the food whenever you are eating. Suppose the button is open and it has fallen into food and we have consumed that. Okay. So jewelry. Suppose a part of the jewelry has fallen into your food, so it can also communicate with the food. Okay. So the different strings of your fiber, whatever you are wearing. Okay, jute fibers, different bone fragments, feathers of the birds or feather of the birds, it can fall into food and it can also contaminate the food. So these are the physical hazards in food. So now what are the invisible chemical hazards? So why is it called invisible? It is called invisible because you can't see the chemical being reacting with your food. You can see the physical hazards can be visible to you, but these chemical hazards is not possible to visualize things. Okay, until and unless the proper experiments has not. Okay, so what are these invisible chemical hazards? Those are pesticide residues. So the pesticide residues, it can also contaminate your food if it is there in your, if somehow it has gone into your food. So veterinary residues, cleaning chemicals, adulterants. There are several adulterants which have been mixed with the food. Okay, so these adulterants somehow will harm your health. Okay. So non-permissible food additives. There are several food additives. If you buy something from your local shop, local market, suppose you have bought suppose 100 gram of turmeric powder. So turmeric powder contains several kinds of adulterants. Okay, like it contains the brick powder. So the brick powder, they mixes with this turmeric powder, so it's not visible to your eyes. You cannot get that. Okay, so if it is bought from the local shop, it might happen. So you can't differentiate the adulterant. But if you buy the packaged turmeric powder from the from any supermarket or any market or any stationery shop, it has the packet of that turmeric powder has got the FSSAI stamp. Okay, so from that thing you can say that it is adulterant or it has got the permissible additives, not in non-permissible additives. Okay. So excess of permissible food additives. So there might be the volume, if the volume of the permissible additives is increased, so it can also harm your health. So these are the chemical hazards in the biological hazards. So biological hazards are living organisms and include microbial organisms. Those microorganisms which are associated with food and cause diseases are termed foodborne pathogens. So what are foodborne pathogens? The microorganisms which are associated with food and causes the disease which are related to food are termed as foodborne pathogens. There are two types of foodborne diseases from microbial pathogens. So one is infectious and one is poisoning. So the different visible biological hazards in foods are, suppose you can see sometimes fly can come and it can dip in any of your food item. Okay, so worms can also come somehow in your food, cockroaches, okay, weevils, caterpillars, they can sometimes come and you can see these things in your food items. Okay. So you should always, whenever you are having your food, you should always properly check your food and then you should consume it. Okay. So these are the visible biological hazards in food. So what are the invisible? That is the microbiological hazards in food. Suppose bacteria. Suppose you are consuming your food in an open area. Okay, in road, and lots of these traveling buses, autos, rickshaws, whatever is going on, and they are making lots of dust. So those dust particles can contain these bacteria, okay, molds, virus, yeast. So these can directly or indirectly your food can be contaminated with these. So it would be better if you have your food in a closed place which is free from this dust and any kind of physical this environment. Okay, so you should be having your food in a proper healthy environment. Otherwise your food would be contaminated with this bacteria, yeast, mold, protozoa, viruses. So these are the invisible microbiological hazards in food. So now another term that you are going to know is food infection or food poisoning. So what is this food infection or food poisoning? Food infection or food poisoning results from ingestion of live pathogenic organisms which multiply in the body and cause diseases. So now suppose if you consume any food item which contains these live pathogens, live pathogens are those pathogens or microorganisms which once gets inside your body, it will multiply. It will try to multiply and it will make a colony. And if it starts making colony, the volume will increase, and when the volume will increase, it will cause different kinds of problems or symptoms in your body. Okay, and ultimately will result in occurring of any kind of diseases. So the name of first which is important this live pathogen is Salmonella. So what is this Salmonella? Salmonella is a classical example of this live pathogens. These organisms exist in the intestinal tract of animals. So these are present in the intestinal tract of the different animals. So raw milk and eggs are also the sources. If you consume raw milk, if you consume raw egg, so different gym who are doing gym and they also also in the villages, many people they consume this raw milk and raw egg. So they also there is a high chance of having these live pathogens in their body. Okay. Heat destroys the salmonella. So temperature, that is heat, destroys the Salmonella live pathogen. However, inadequate cooking allows some organisms to survive. So there is also one point that if you don't cook your food properly, if it is not cooked properly, if the proper heat is not given to the food items, then these microorganisms they can live after the cooking also. Often Salmonella is spread through cross-contamination. This could happen when a cook cuts raw meat or poultry on a chopping board without cleaning, uses it for another food which does not involve any cooking. So suppose you have chopped any kind of food which contains this Salmonella in your chopping board, and you don't wash that chopping board when you are cutting any other items in that particular chopping board. So this is called cross contamination, that the pathogens which are present in that meat item or poultry item, it will also contaminate the other food item from that chopping board. So this is what food infection or food poisoning is all about. So now what is food intoxication? Some bacteria produce harmful toxins which are present in food even if pathogen has been killed. So some bacteria is always there which produces harmful toxins in your food, which are present in your food, and even if the pathogen is, suppose the pathogen which is present in the food is already been killed, but these bacteria will always be there in their food, whether in an inactive form or active form, which will somehow result in food intoxication. So organisms produce toxins when the food has not been hot enough or cold enough. So there are some heat resistant bacteria as well as the cold resistant bacteria. That is, suppose the heat resistant bacteria I am telling about. Suppose you have put a lot of heat and you are properly cooking that food item, so the bacteria will be inactive for that moment. After the food is again becomes cold, then the bacteria they will be again live. And same with the cold food items, cold resistant bacteria. Toxins in food cannot be detected by smell, appearance or taste. Hence, foods which smell and appear good are not necessarily safe. So, suppose you have got into a restaurant and you are saying that the food is delicious, it looks delicious, the appearance, taste is all okay. That doesn't mean that the food is always okay. That is good. Sometimes the food inside it is not good enough for consuming, which is not visible with our eyes. One example of such an organism is Staphylococcus aureus. So what does this Staphylococcus aureus does? Such organisms exist in air, dust and water. They are also present in the nasal passage, throat and on skin, hair of 50% of the healthy individuals. So the healthy individuals, they also contains this Staphylococcus aureus. Suppose in our nasal part or in our skin, this Staphylococcus aureus is always present. So if we don't wash our hands properly and eat our food, then these Staphylococcus aureus, they indirectly or indirectly can get into our body. So this is your biological hazards in food. So you have known about these two important microorganisms, that is Salmonella and Staphylococcus aureus. Okay. So next year we will start with what are the different factors that are important in the emergence of pathogens in our human